Hello, and welcome back to Hats Off, Unmasking Toxic Masculinity. I'm your host, Dr. James McKnight, and it's a new year, and we're so happy to be back for a new season of vital discussions about men's mental health and featuring dynamic, insightful guests with a particular point of view. Given that, let's bring on our very first special guest, Mike Troy, also known as Brooklyn Mike. It is wonderful to have you here, brother.
Thank you.
You're my first celebrity guest.
Oh, yeah. I thank you for making me feel like a celebrity. Tell my kids that, but thank you. Thank you.
But first, let me tell them a little bit about you, Mike.
Okay.
Mike is an accomplished stand-up comedian, actor, and writer. Although he's Brooklyn-based, he performs a lot in New York. Mike tours throughout the U.S. and internationally. He is the host of the Bounce Comedy Tour in Harlem. Yes. You're going to have to tell us about that. Oh, yeah. The brother in Harlem.
16 years.
The Caribbean Comedy Tour in Freeport, Bahamas. And he has performed in Haiti for Stand Up in Haiti. Outstanding.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. His TV appearances include The Chappelle Show, NBC's Showtime at the Apollo, HBO's Def Comedy Jam. Mike has had reoccurring roles on ABC's One Life to Live and NBC's Law and Order. In addition to being a featured writer for Chris Rock's SNL monologue for his appearance in the 2020, Mike continues to write for Chris on his latest tour. So there he is. This is the celebrity. We're glad to have you here. How you feeling? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm at home. I'm
That's
relaxed.
Right. We go
I'm
way
breathing.
back.
Yeah, we do. So I'm home. This is no big surprise. I feel like I'm home. I promise you.
I like that. Now, you know that Valentine's Day is quickly approaching.
Yeah.
And you know what, Mike? I was thinking, that kind of pushes up on us pretty quickly sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
Before sometimes you look around, it's like, Valentine's Day here, I hadn't taken care of what I needed to take care of.
And I'm glad meet my lady.
That's Michelle.
Yes, Michelle.
Michelle.
We don't celebrate Valentine's.
All right. Oh, really?
Real. And she's just as adamant. And a lot of people every year, people don't really research the history of Valentine's Day.
All right.
It's a dark history.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a dark history. So we don't. I haven't celebrated Valentine's Day in years.
Really?
Yeah.
So for those brothers who do,
right.
The brothers who's out there delivering from Amazon, just running around, just doing things. Those brothers like myself who was saying, "Hey, we're just busy." Right. And then sometimes you look up, it's like it's here.
Yeah.
So and then you're looking at your girl, and you say to her, "I have not gotten anything. I ran to the store. Everything's gone. Whatever." Now you have to use your comedic mind, your comedic thought. What would you say? What could I say?
I would write her a letter, sing her a song, and I can't sing. I would have to do something creative.
Yes.
Like write her a love letter note or...
Sure.
Right.
And it's not what spending money or whatever. It's the thought that counts. It's the love behind it.
Most definitely.
And what have you. But let's talk a little bit. You've been in comedy for quite some time. How long have you been doing comedy?
Like 30 years.
Wow.
30 plus years.
Sure. And I know that you're also an actor.
Yes.
And I know that because you've worked on a project of mine.
Yes.
And Rhonda Mitchell, MD, that was something that we were working on some years ago. And you did an excellent, in fact, I said to you, you're an excellent actor. So we know that you do both. But being in comedy now, let me see my notes here. Being in comedy now, how is it being a comedian at this time with this political climate?
The climate has changed, obviously, with the new administration. It's changed. You got to be...
Do you still feel like you can kind of say what you want to say, or you...
I do. I do feel like that. I'm just more clever in how I say it.
I like that.
Because you could put a message out there without going... I do it some churches, and I don't know if I'm going to be welcome back to this church, but I did ask the question, if the devil had a Bible, would you read it? and I would read it.
Mm-hmm.
But church folks, they come at me so hard. And it's not like I want to be the devil.
Right.
The one thing I do know about this story is no one ever got a chance to hear his side of the story. You know, it's like your dad that hasn't been in your life. I just want to know his side of the story.
Right.
And when you say stuff like that, mainly pastors, and I don't think it's being disrespectful to the Bible, it's just a question. And then when you get political, you got to know where you're at as far as like, I don't do colleges because
Why is that?
Because there's so many rules and regulations in colleges.
I didn't know that.
You can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. And I went to college, Shaw University, got through that.
All right.
College students, you can't put restrictions on the artists because college students are rude and mean and evil. And if you go there not being yourself,
Right.
They will attack you. And I don't write for a specific demographic. Like I learned a long time ago that I write for a certain group. So I'll keep writing for that group till they all follow me. So I give you guys a quick example.
Yes.
I went to my elementary school for career day, and I thought I was really doing something.
Yes.
And it was for some fourth graders. And what happened was they had a fireman come in and a police officer. And the fireman, they fell in love with him because he promised the kids once they get out of class, they could sit on a fire truck that was parked outside, ring the bell, and the
They
horn.
love that. We love
And
that.
when she introduced me, they just looked at me like, who is this guy? Right? And they made me feel so bad. They was asking me, did I know other celebrity comedians? And one kid was like, you know Kevin Hart? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, why didn't you bring him? I said, And so there was no material that I could think of that I, could prepare for them. And that just wasn't my audience.
Sure.
So you got to know your audience, but colleges, they put too many restrictions on your language, on your subject matters. And so, yeah, I won't do a college.
Right. And so since we're kind of talking about young people, young people sometimes are trying to make decisions about their lives. And some young people will decide to go into entertainment. Right. And I know you decided to do that, of course. Have you always had the support of your parents, your family?
No one. Everyone rejected me. I actually graduated with a BA in criminal justice. I passed the FBI test. I was supposed to go to Quantico, Virginia, where they do the training at. And I drove past it and came all the way home to New York.
Wow.
So my mom's, she was not. Everybody, she has pictures to this day of the test scores of them calling me and saying, you're going to be a United States FBI agent. And my heart wasn't there.
Right.
So she felt like I wasted, my grandmother would say, you want to do comedy? Because, back then she felt like, you afraid of hard work. Like if you wanted to be an artist, she felt like, man, you got to build a house and take care of your family. Jokes is not. So she wasn't there yet as far as being. No one in my family was an artist. Until me. No one. As far as we can go back, we can't think of anyone that's been an artist. So what I realized, I felt like they were all being mean. But I realized everyone that I went to in my family, no one had a business. Everybody worked. And that's all they knew.
Yes, exactly.
So when they looked at me, it was like, you got this college degree and it's going to waste and you want to go out there and entertain. Everybody I asked in my family, nobody owned a store, had a business. So none of them ever took risk.
Right.
And they all just stayed working.
Sure. So when you think back and you look back, were there times that you did have some regrets or thought maybe I should have done that, or you just sailed on through? Well,
I have to be totally honest. I made the right choice. What I realized is that I totally believe I was sent here to do this. And I totally believe that I made the best choice.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I know this is so cliche when they say do something that you love
Yes.
and you'll never feel like you worked.
Mm-hmm.
I never feel like I'm working.
All right. We love
And
hearing that.
now, so the money goes up and down. Yeah,
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
comes with it. But I
Mhm.
think the passion that I have for it is like, this is what I was sent here to do.
Right, right. You know, the show is called Unmasking. Well, Unmasking is in the show.
Mhm.
And when I think about comedians, I think that's probably one of the hardest jobs to me because my sense is that you're up there on stage. You
Right.
you have to be quite vulnerable, to be
Right.
quite honest with you. And you just have to kind of lay it all out there, and you do.
Right.
And that's why I love your comedy. That's why we love your comedy. That's why we come see Mike Joy.
I appreciate that. And you
Brooklyn
know,
Mike.
what people don't understand is the audience is my therapy.
Oh, all right.
I get to share what's really going on. Some of it is exaggerated, but they listen. So it's therapy for me to just go out there and just talk about how I feel. And they don't even know I'm using them because I have a platform to go, hey, this is what's going on in my life.
Right,
And this
right,
is
right.
happening, this happening, this happening.
Sure.
And I make it funny. So, but it's therapy for me.
And the thing is, Mike, you have a plethora of places where you can go with it.
Right.
Because you are the father of 6 girls. Is it
No,
6?
no, 4 girls.
4 girls.
and
I'm
1
sorry.
son. Right.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
So it's
4 girls.
I say
And a
this
son.
when younger comics ask me what I don't like. So the only thing I hate about being an artist is there's no human resource department. There's no place for you to go to complain. I can't say this person got it because they was white. I'm black. I don't. This person, I don't look the part.
Right.
There's no human resource.
There's no
department.
human resource.
So if you really gonna do this, then no, you just gotta do it, and there's nobody you can complain to. You know, like when you work on a job, you can go to your union boss. There's no union. There's no union party. There's no pen. There's no union dance once
Sure,
a year.
certainly.
You're just out there. So
Right.
my life, what I do is I absorb. Comedy comes from, like, I don't look for comedy. I absorb what goes on in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I bring it on stage. Like, I don't look
Which
for
is great.
Like, a lot of people ask me, like, the one person that I always wanted to be, and you guys are hearing it for the first time. I've never shared this with nobody.
Mm.
Charlie Chaplin.
Is that right?
Yes. I'm a big, quiet fan. And it took me maybe 15 years into comedy to realize why. And because you got to remember, he made people laugh without talking.
Right. Right.
So if you see some of my comedy, it's all about my facial
It
expressions.
is. Yes,
It's
I
about
have
my thought.
noticed that.
It's about
Your
thinking.
stance on stage,
It's a
all that.
stance. So it's all bringing you in. It's the nonverbal things that I do
Right.
that bring you in. And a big part of that is the Charlie Chaplin. And then the other part is I love George Carlin. I still watch him today before I go to sleep.
Is that right?
I watch. He was like, to me, the first woke white person
Mm-hmm.
because the stuff he was talking about in the 60s and the 70s, like he was speaking truth to power. And I was just like, this dude,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
he's got to be black under his skin because he was just speaking truth to power.
Right.
So, yeah.
You know, when I did your introduction and talking a little bit about what you've accomplished, I just saw you at the Public Theater. Did I not mention that?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Did I not mention that?
No,
I mean,
you
the
didn't
Public
mention-
Theater,
Right. Yeah.
that's quite an accomplishment.
That is and it's a big
What,
accomplishment.
Hamilton
And
came out of
right.
there.
And you say that because it's hard to get comedy in the Public Theater if you're not like an A-lister. They don't just do comedy shows. You can't go there so my lady Michelle, she did her one-woman show there. So she has a great relationship. And
I see.
they came out to see the show and they was like, bring it to the public. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And you mentioned writing for Chris Rock.
Right. Now,
How did that take place? How do you know Chris? He just
Chris,
called-
he's not my James.
All right.
When people ask me about our relationship, I share with them that I'm just a coworker that he really likes. Is he my friend? No. Like, when we go out and drink a beer, I know his friends is like Adam Sandler would be. Like, I've been around his friends. He's always liked my comedy.
Mhm.
And he always would say to me when he see me, he says, I'm gonna look out. I got you. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And then during the pandemic, I don't know if he know I needed some money or not, but he called me. And when he called me on my phone, I have his number. But when he called me, I said, you know what, somebody's playing. And I'm, because usually when he has handlers that do all of that, make the phone calls. So he called me. He's like, Mike, what you doing this week coming up? And I'm like, none. This is Chris. And I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. All right, Chris. Here you want. What do you want to get? And he was like, I want to hire you to be a part of the writing team for my monologue on SNL. And I was like, okay, that's what you would, and I was just, and he says, my folks will get at you. And I hung up. And then the next day I had to look back. I said, did Chris just? So it was like, I was shocked because he has people to do all of that. Exactly. So to call
you personally,
right? That made me, tear came out. I was telling
that's pretty cool,
my son,
man.
We made it. We're going to Hollywood. I did all that crazy stuff. So, and it was intimidating because I've never taken a writing class. I didn't have the format. And Michelle Wolf was in the room, and I felt a little intimidated. I was just like, I know her work.
Right.
And there's a lot of writers in there that was just very known. And what I realized is that they need more people like us in that room because nobody was thinking like I was thinking.
Look at that.
And I was like, no.
Thank you.
We had this little, what was an argument, disagreement, because one person was like, because only thing Martin Luther King wanted to do was get a seat on the back of the bus. And I was like, well, should I voice my opinion and lose this job? I said, no. Y'all wrong. I said, this is, I said, I'm sorry, this is not right. You were wrong. And I was like, you know what? I felt like, just give me this paycheck and I'm gonna go home because I know I'm about to be fired. I done told Michelle Wolf, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So Chris was just laughing. And I was just like, okay. And I told him, I said, man, I know it's my last day. I'm good. He said, nah, that's why I have you here. I said, okay. So when he told me that, I was just speaking freely and not being scared of what they had to say. But I do realize those particular people in the room didn't know our story.
Yes.
They didn't know our story. And I made a joke that didn't make it to air, but it was like during the pandemic, I was saying, I came up with, I hope they hurry up and have these kids go back to school. I said, because you thought Brown versus the education was bad. It's going to be parents versus the Board of Ed. Chris was crying laughing. Everybody else was like, we don't kind of get it. I was like, Brown versus parents.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a lot of that, but it was good. It was really good. And then, he took me on tour with him. And that was I really got to see how wealthy people travel. And for me, and I said on stage, I said, you're I don't share this with my son, but lack of finance instead of saying poor, because they say you got to be careful in your words, but we lack finance for so long to where when you're around somebody who really have it, you're like, whoa. So Chris paid for everything. And in the hotels, he was like, the bar, what do you call that? The inside, inside your room, there's a snack thing. Sure. A bottle of water costs like $1,000. Right? So many years of traveling, going into hotels, I wouldn't even
I'm not going to touch that.
I won't even look at it because I don't want them to charge me. So one evening, I went to Walmart to get some water. I asked the staff, do they want some water? And they said, and Chris says, Mike, there's no water in your room. I says, yes, but I'm not doing that.
Right. But you know what?
But listen, he goes, everything is covered. He says, I said, everything?
It should be. I
had beer, Cavassier. I ran through the whole thing. I think I packed some in my bag to take with me.
Right.
But very generous. And it was another thing that I've learned about him, the man of his status. He works like he's broke.
Oh, is that right?
We had about 5 writing sessions a day, maybe 2 on Sundays. He works like he is broke.
But I do want to say that he's quite phenomenal as a comedian. And we love
he is.
And I want to thank you for all that you provided for him.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is not so much about Chris. This is about you too. Because the other thing is, you mentioned being in the room. Holland. Tell us about Holland. How does that? Where's a brother like you doing Holland? I think you've been doing it for a while too.
I've been doing it 16 years, right?
Stop.
So what I take from all my experiences, I bring them on stage, right? So there's a whole college experience that I could just do hours on being a student. I was in the military, so I traveled abroad before doing stand-up. And I booked the Amsterdam show 16 years ago.
All right.
And they just fell in love with me. They was just like, I wasn't the typical American comic because, you know, you go over there, prostitution and marijuana, it's all legal. And I was one of the first American comic who didn't touch on none of that stuff. And they were blown away. They was waiting for me to do that, and I didn't touch on any of that stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
No, is it true that around some particular holiday they do blackface in Holland? What's up with
Right.
that?
So they do Black Pete. Some call them Swatsa Pete. So it's racist. And for me, when you go to different countries, I could play with it, but I can't get too serious because I am a visitor, and they will make sure I won't ever come back there. So the thing about that, and I made it funny, and everybody laughed.
Sure.
So the Dutch people, they say it's not racist. White people go on blackface giving kids candy, and they do it every year. They march every year, and it is very much racist. However, how I flipped it on stage, I said, I don't have a problem with white people wearing blackface. I said, but the problems that we go through, they should get them. Like there should be some police beating your butt. You shouldn't get into an apartment. Like you should be treated like that person you want to paint on your face. And then I asked the Dutch people, I said, let me just ask you this question. I said, if it wasn't about being racist, how come Swatsa Pete don't give candy at the airport, at the international airport? Because that's the only place he's not there. He's in the towns, but at the airport, he is not there. And everybody applauded. I'm like, okay, I'm good. So, yeah, and they speak English very well. They don't watch our TV or anything like that. No,
not at all.
They don't watch our TV and stuff like. But yeah, and it's good. It's a.
So when we plan a trip to Holland, we'll have.
I know Holland like Brooklyn. I know
take
it.
us through,
I know it. I take you to the Anne Frank house, to the canals.
All right.
Yeah,
Right.
she's not gonna be there, but I'm
right. I did want to talk to you a little bit about mental health also. You know, there have been a rash of suicides. Some celebrities, a number of celebrities have lost their kids, which is so unfortunate.
Right.
You know, sports people, but then just your average person. The suicide rate is extremely high, particularly upon African-American males between the ages of 15 and 19.
Right.
It's like the third leading cause of death.
Wow.
So a lot of it has to do with sadness and depression.
Yes.
And so being a comedian, I can imagine that there are times, too, that maybe you dealt with some sadness or depression or...
Yeah, I think, I guess we all deal with sadness.
I agree
and stuff.
with you.
I think, I do any studies, obviously. I think there's a lot of reasons why this is happening. But when I think about my own personal life, like growing up with the men in my family, whether they were alcoholics or abusive, as a kid, I used to hate my stepfather, right? Because he was a drunk, he was on drugs, he was very abusive to my right, and the only dream, my only bucket list was to make sure when I get old enough to kind of beat him up. I was doing my push-ups because he was a drug addict, and then I felt so sad for him when I found out his backstory. So I think a lot of backstories of men and women who didn't go to therapy passed it on to their kids, right? And when I found out his aunt, who was supposed to raise him and his 6 brothers and sisters, she sent him to foster homes, split them up, and then he was drafted. He never did drugs before the Vietnam War. And then he got drafted and went over there, and he came back. And you know, most of those men never went to therapy.
Never.
And it was just passed on.
Right.
They didn't get help in the beginning.
I agree with you.
And so I never felt so sad for a person when I found out. And he went to Vietnam. And, back then, they allowed them to do drugs over there.
Right.
And then when they came back home, nobody helped them. So then they went to beating, and so it was just like, so I think, we have a long history of people who have mental health issues, and they never dealt with it.
And I really appreciate you being quite vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I need to be vulnerable also. I had alcoholism in my family also with my dad, and some domestic violence. And I think that young men need to hear that, you can live with some of that, but you can still do wonderful things with your life. You can still be a comedian. You can still go to school and do whatever you want to do.
Right. And sometimes I self-diagnose myself without any degrees or anything, but I give you a good example. I've been horrible with finances. I had a non-caring attitude all the way up to college when they was allowed to give you 4 or 5 credit cards. And I didn't care. I didn't care of ever paying it back. And when I actually graduated and became older, I was like, man, where did this come from? I would do like my own self-inventory on myself. And then I realized I didn't come from a long line of people who knew about finance. My mother never taught me about it. Her mother never taught her about it. And it was passed on to me of having this non-caring attitude about fun. My grandmother, there was a reason why my grandmother kept money in her house. She didn't trust people. They didn't trust people. She coming from Columbia, South Carolina, and Aikens. They said, so investment to people who grew up in the 50s, investment was like, nah, that's another trick they plan on us.
Right,
I'm going to give them my money, and then it's going, I'll keep it in a bag or safe at home. So we come from a long line.
Right.
I come from a long line of history of people not knowing. And I think, let me ask you this question. Do you think everyone needs mental or therapy? Mental health?
I think on certain levels, it depends, but I think that we all can and need someone that we can confide in.
Okay.
So if you have a close friend, and it depends on the severity too, of course, what you're looking at, that you're talking to. And I know women typically do better than us men.
Right.
And that's kind of why we're doing this show, so that we can encourage men. Come on, let's talk to each other.
Right.
We have someone that we sometimes, one of the guests, Billy Council, he runs a kind of a restaurant gathering of men and their sons, so they can kind of get together and kind of talk to each other, whatever. So we need to encourage men to talk about, to each other.
Right.
So I think that we all need that, definitely. Now, when you're talking about professional work, it kind of depends on what's going on. If you have, what we call clinical depression as opposed to just some sadness or what have you, certainly you may need to see someone and work through that, But we have to support each other, man. That's what it's all about,
Yeah, do you think they throw around that word toxic a lot? Do you think they throw that word around?
Well, that's good. We're going to come back to. I was going to say to you, when we talk about toxic masculinity, what is that? What does that sound like to you?
These days, being a man, I think they throw that word out there so much. You kind of got to fall back on the way you was raised. Like the men in my family, they were men. Not good husbands, but they were men. They took the boys out. You got a certain age.
Right.
I'm the only boy in my family. They took me out. They had me under them. And I just think today when I hear that, I hear my son threw that out. Like my son threw that out today. And just because I told him to do his homework. And it's like everybody, it's like Chris said it too, like fake outrage. You don't know who needs it. And, if I was dealing with something, struggling with something, and I felt like I couldn't help, I wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, I could tell. I could see you on stage from your comedy on stage.
I would not have no problem going.
Like you said, the audience, you do therapy with.
Right. I know. Right. So I don't have no problems, but I just toxic. What is it? What is it?
Well, I think that we have a great example now when we talk about toxic masculinity. When we look at what's happening, we're not getting to politics, but when we talk about what's happening with these ICE officers,
right?
Mike, you and I pulling women out of
Yeah.
cars and throwing them. I mean, the lack of empathy, kids.
Yeah.
So that's part of what we call that toxic masculinity, where you can, you don't exhibit any kind of empathy toward other people,
Right.
or no concern, or no sympathy or what have you.
Right.
So, no, this country is in a pretty bad way when it comes to that.
And it's scary, right? So, right, when I understand politics long, what's scary for me is that there were other presidents that I didn't vote for, but I was all right with. I mean, they all have their stuff.
Right.
This here is scary.
It is outrageous.
It's just as scary. That's all.
It really is.
And yeah, it's scary. Like, and even for I've been in the military. Like, it is scary. I wouldn't want us, and I'm gonna leave it here. I wouldn't want this country to get ready to go to war because we are so divided. Like,
Right.
I don't know if now if we're together,
Right.
if you like me for me, like, are you gonna protect me? Like, this is a scary place to be.
Sure. So, we've been talking quite a bit. What you want to tell us? What's up new? What's coming up new for Brooklyn Mike? Brooklyn Mike be everywhere. I got a couple of those.
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn be everywhere.
Because of how this industry is going, I can honestly say within the last 5 years or so, independent, like working on I'm putting more energy into my fan base so I can shop straight to consumer. Like, I totally believe Hollywood is the Roman Empire, and it's falling. It's falling because of streaming. Like, when you see your A-listers doing shows on Hulu and Netflix, Hollywood is falling.
Yes.
And so all I can do is shoot my own stuff and work on my fan base. Those people that come out and support me, work on it, work on it increasing.
Have you seen any AI of yourself being posted? I have to say that I saw something. Somebody sent me something. And I'm not.
You know what's so funny about AI, though, James? You know what's so funny about AI? Because I use it, because AI is like my secretary, right? AI is like my secretary.
There's a place for it, definitely, without a doubt, yes.
But do not challenge it on historical facts, because just the other day I was like, was Jesus black? AI was like, well, no, historian says, and I'm like, really? I'm hitting it really chat, really historic.
Right.
So, and the funny thing about AI is that a lot of Teslas, I don't know if you guys know, like, Tesla's robots have been freaking out and beating up. Like, one robot spiraled out of control and beat up an employee. Like, the robot beat up, and I'm like, how worse of an employee you got to be that you get beat up by a robot? Like, but who programmed that robot, right? Because it had to be programmed to beat somebody up when it's out of funk. Like, what Karen messed with that? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so that's scary. AI is the devil. AI, I mean, I like it for what I use it for, but my son, because now my son just did an English paper in school and he had to write it. And I know he went to chat. I know. And I'm looking, he never puts a semicolon in his work. He never. Like, never. He never did that.
And so you saw that, you're like,
I was like, wait a minute, this is a whole thesis. And I was like, okay. But the semicolon, I'm like, no, that's not you, son. That is, last week you had about 7 run-on sentences, and now this week you got semicolon. Like, nah.
Did he confess up or no?
Yeah, he did.
All
Yeah,
right.
he did.
Honesty. That's what we're here.
Yeah,
we're here to talk about honesty, too. We want young men to understand it's important to be honest. We
Yeah,
make mistakes. We do things.
Very important to be honest.
Definitely.
And, and I'm not to get you. And then, so, again, my comedy, I absorb life. So I have 4 daughters. I'm the only male in my family, all women. So then I have 4 daughters, and just growing up with them taught me, like, wow, this is different. This is different. And I realized, because I was young when I had my first child, and I realized, because I didn't have my father in my life, subconsciously, and mind you guys, all 5 children are from different women. But you would never know that, because I made sure they were all together.
Excellent.
And subconsciously, it was probably me not having my father.
Mm-hmm.
So all five of my children have different mothers, but they're all together.
And they are grown now, most
They're
of
grown.
them.
Yeah,
Went to
Noah's
college.
14.
Your
Yeah,
daughters have
three
done
of them
extremely well.
finished college. One was in the Navy.
Excellent job, Dad.
Then is Noah. Yeah.
Excellent job, Dad.
Thank
With
you.
all that you do.
Right.
Excellent. So I see that the last time I saw you and Michelle,
Yes.
your current lady, are doing more family,
Yeah,
kids,
we have a
which is great for them,
Yeah, we actually contracted with the New York City Board of Education. We have a show that's titled "Mothers Know Best, Fathers Know Less," and it's just picking fun out of parenting because none of us have it right. And in that, we've met with Bob Eubanks people. I think I shared with you, and he was showing some interest, but right now he's ill. So we're waiting to hope he gets better. He wants to shoot it like the Newlywed Game.
Oh, all right.
Remember that
game?
game?
Yeah, I remember that game.
Parents come out, and all it is which parent knows more about their child. The mothers go, come back, the fathers go and come back, and there's a big prize. So in that,
I like that.
That will be done, even if we use all our resources to shoot it and put it on a platform. Because me and Michelle both share the same thing. We're not waiting for Hollywood.
Right.
We're just going to make it happen. We're going to figure it out.
Let's do it. And you being here, we're
Yes.
starting to make it happen.
We're going to make it happen.
We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen.
Please follow me at Mike Troy 00. That's all my handles. If you guys are in the Netherlands next week, please feel free to come through. I'm going to Rotterdam. I'm going to Utrecht. I'm going to Brooklyn. I'm going to Amsterdam. I'll be working on Carnival and Royal Caribbean Cruise Line
All right.
this summer. I don't know what dates yet, so we're working that out with my management. Wow, I can't forget this. I'm doing my anniversary show to my brand March 14th in Brooklyn at a club called Scales, rooftop, real grown and
Nice.
sexy. And
We
I
need
want
to all be there.
everybody to be. And it's an early show.
All right.
So it's from 4 to 8.
I like that you guys do early
Right.
shows.
And you can get out, go shopping, and you can catch some of the sunlight. So yes.
Definitely.
Please follow me on all my handles. I need my fan base
Yes.
to increase. Also, I just finished doing a Don't Tell comedy series, which is one of the reasons another reason that confirmed with me that Hollywood is slowly. These guys got together during the pandemic and they would shoot comedy shows all over the cities.
I see.
They would find spots and rent them out. And now it's on an international level. They're all over the place. What I like about these guys, they got together. It's 4 of them. And they shoot it like a comedy special. I've done HBO. I wrote for True TV. And the treatment that I received from those guys was superb. They got the camera, they got a sponsor, and these guys started in a basement in Williamsburg, in the Williamsburg area, and now they're all over the world. It's called Don't Tell Comedy, and they aired my show like 3 weeks ago, so it's up to like 90,000 K. I got like 90,000 followers on that. So people are Lisa Ray, Issa Ray. No, Lisa Ray, I believe her name, from Lisa Ray woman. Insecure. Right. I get her mixed up with
that's Issa.
Issa, right? I get them mixed up. On tour with Chris, we hung out with her during lunch, and she clearly said, don't look for people. Don't look for the A-listers to help you. She's like, network across. She said, we all have friends that bring their own expertise to the table. She said, you'll get it done faster like that. That's what she said. She said, later for Hollywood. Get your friends, who's a cameraman, who's the editor, who shoots, who sings, who plays in the band. She said, network across. That's how you're going to make it.
Wonderful advice, man. We really appreciate that. Because, we often look to A-listers and
the thing with that is we do want that. We do. You know
and-
what? I'd rather go after somebody who have, Michelle always says this, white guilt money, because they out there. And instead of going to, because the A-list, my experience, and I know plenty of people, they always want 90% of what you bring.
All
They
right.
go, okay, and what it's in for me, and and it's like you got to wait for them. If they're popular, you have to wait for them, their schedule, and there's somebody we all know that does the same thing, and they all come following you. It was a show that they shot in Brooklyn called Money and Violence, or Gun and Violence. And what I say to you, James, this is about almost 15 years ago. These guys never took a camera course, a mic. They didn't take any classes. Little local drug dealers decided, let's just shoot a story. When I say that was one of the regrets that I didn't, because I'm from, no, it doesn't look right. The boom mic was in the shot. They used one car for every scene. It was like supposed to be a drama, but it was so funny to me. I'm like, no, they dressed the car up to be an undercover, and MTV came and picked it up. And when MTV came to Foster Projects in Brooklyn, they made the news. They said, we'll give you $250. They laughed at them. They was like, nah, come back with better figures. And then they came back. And they told them, come back again.
Right.
And to me, in my eyes, it was a trash it was guns, violence in the hood, in the elevators, but they did it.
They did it.
Right.
And that's the important thing. They did it.
Did it.
They
So,
did it. And
networking
sharing that vital information is great, particularly for our young people out there
right,
who are looking to, make moves.
right,
And we have to keep making moves despite what's coming at us,
right.
despite what they say about we don't count or we don't this or whatever. Right. It's all about.
Right.
In fact, did you see the Super Bowl?
Yes, you did. Yes, I loved it.
I did.
Listen. I loved it. I got a Bad Bunny button. I didn't wear it today. Let me tell you why. Right, and let me just be. I'm sure we all agree. Right, the fact that this country is so hypocritical. They're just all right. So they didn't want him to get on the biggest stage and sing in Spanish, right? Then stop taking Major League Baseball players who can't speak English and play baseball.
What about that? Go ahead, Mike. You're
Right?
preaching.
Stop.
Preaching, Mike.
If that's what we're going to do.
Exactly.
And if you could throw a 95-mile-per-hour fastball and you're from Venezuela and all the countries they hate, then stop bringing them in. Stop. The number one baseball player, and I didn't research this, but is the guy from Japan, from the Dodgers.
Yes.
I believe he's the number one baseball player.
I think, yes.
Right. I think, right? He's the number. He comes through. Let him stay in Japan. Let the Spanish-speaking fighters or they have their interpreters. Most guys have their interpreters. Don't bring them here.
So you talk about how hypocritical we are
Right.
in this country.
So, I know we're going to talk about politics, but when you look at it like that, I was just very impressed with the fact that all the country's flags he represented. Like, he didn't forget nobody.
Yes.
And you can say what you want. I've seen Beyonce's show. I've seen everybody's show. And it was all entertainment and good, but nobody made a social comment or flag. Have flags. The lady that owns the bodega on 249 Metropolitan Avenue, that lady is real. She's a real woman. So for him to snatch her in and put her on the biggest stage, like every year she would go. They make it a big thing in Brooklyn. Every year they try to kick her out, raise her rent up, gentrification, and people come on out. So to see that woman up there, I was like, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
I mean, it was a great. The game was trash, but
exactly.
Other than that, So
yeah.
The one question that I have for God, and I mean, I don't want to ask him anytime soon, but not yet. But the question I would have is, why didn't he make why didn't he make like race a term limit? Right? Like, why didn't he or she say, and I'm exaggerating, this is going to be a bit y'all going to hear on stage soon. Why didn't he say or she say, every 6 months, everybody change and be the other person? Because he's God. He could have did that, right?
He could have did that.
We're black for 6 months, and then we get a chance to be white. And then we get a chance to be Asian, and we get a chance to be this. Because that would have ruled out discrimination and racism because everybody gets a turn,
Right. Exactly.
right? So if you're white now and you want to treat black people crazy, or we be like, my turn is coming up when January comes. 2027. I'm gonna remember this. You know what I mean? Like he could have did that. Everybody would have been cool. Everybody would been all right. Like, you know what? Leave that Asian man alone. He gets his turn in about 2 more years. So it would be no racism or discrimination.
You're right.
I feel like.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of going back to the Valentine's Day thing.
Right.
I think that there's a little discrepancy, a little unevenness with that.
Right.
It seemed like us as men, we put out more for that.
We do.
We do.
We do. I'm sorry.
We have to buy the flowers. We have to buy the candy. We have to do this. We have to set up
do.
the date. We have to go to, you know, we put out. So how can we kind of even that up a little bit, you know?
Women, you know, listen, I always go back to the first, again, like, this is what I realized about women, my personal experience. They will try to get you to change, right? I feel like they would try to get you to change, right? And I can tell you, I can give you my own testimony, right? I don't do dishes. Where did that come from? I had to clean the bathroom up. I had to anything, bring the grocery in, the laundry in. I had to do all that. My mother never let me do the dishes. Obviously, if I drink a drink, whatever, I'm cleaning out. I've lived by myself. But I just, so in this relationship that I am in, I don't even know why I do dishes, but I do dishes.
See?
I don't know where it comes from. And I do it with pride. I don't know the day it happened, but I do dishes, right? So I don't know. I just think women, and I know we're talking about Valentine's Day, women find a way to make you do something.
Right. But, you know, I'm really just kidding. I don't think there's no leveling up when it comes to Valentine's Day. Well, not so much with our women who really take care of us men,
right?
You know, for the most part, and our kids and our society.
Right.
Women, as they say, rule the world.
I believe that. I do believe that. And yeah, I do. But then, okay, I know we put, but then what about those? Okay. So what I teach my daughters, I say, make sure you have your stuff together, right? I tell them, make sure you got your stuff together. And if this person you meet and fall in love with, whoever they are, if they left you, you won't be in trouble, right? So I'm like, bring your stuff. But then you got some women, like one day I helped this lady some years ago. I opened the door for her. And she was like, I didn't ask you to do that. So was that being toxic? Was that showing her she wasn't, I get confused sometimes today in 2026. I don't know which one, you know, and then someone was like, I'm just as equal. So I could ask you a question, right?
Yes, of course.
Do you feel like men and women are equal and women should be equal to men?
I definitely feel like.
Okay, I feel that, right?
Most definitely.
But I also feel like, there's some things that I can't teach my daughters.
Yes.
That I hands down, right?
Right.
There's some things. You could read all the books in the world, right? Right. And so I've dated women, and I know this is I dated in the past, whereas they took half as I could drive the car and I could do this and I could pay my own thing, and then when there's a flat tire in a car.
They want you to get out.
Right. This is the time they go, no, I'm not that half. I don't want that part of the half. It's confusing. But I think women do.
But you're right. And we can, we share responsibilities.
Right. I think.
So when it's time to hit the, do some cooking in the kitchen so they can do some of that better, so, but I think all in all, when it comes to us as beings, human rights, all that, yes.
I do. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. But yeah. I do. I feel the same way. But again, I was born in the 60s. 6 sisters, the youngest one.
Yes.
And, it was just different then.
Sure.
It was I always say on stage, and I think you heard me say this at the public, my mother didn't raise me. The way she raised me doesn't go with today's society. It just doesn't go. Right. So did she raise me wrong? You know,
it was just a different time.
You know what I mean? It was just like, did she raise me wrong? I don't know, because I still have a lot of that with me. Mm-hmm. And did she raise me wrong? Some people.
She didn't. She did the best that she can do.
Right.
And we accept that. But I do think that we need to be flexible.
Right.
We need to be open to new ideas. New way of living.
Yes.
And that's the thing with this administration. They want to take us back.
Let's
go back.
That part.
No, there's no going back.
Yeah, that and my son is militant, so he's real militant in school.
Yes.
And I share and I'm glad he does go to a good school, Eagle Academy.
All right.
A school for boys, black boys and boys. So he's doing well. And I have to say this, he's doing extremely well.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's
that.
right. I mean, other than the cheating with the chat GPT, he's on the honor roll. He's playing basketball, and it's revealing to me how a kid who struggled in math is getting 90s in math. Mm-hmm. And I wish I could say it was a magician that's doing it, but they really look out for them boys. They really look out for them boys.
That's great. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm delighted to have you here. And like I said, thank you very much.
Anytime.
Being my first celebrity guest.
Thank you. Please tell my kids that.
With Dr.
Please
McKnight.
tell my kids that. Because your kids,
And like you said, it's the most appropriate guest.
Yes.
Someone who's dynamic.
I appreciate that.
Who has, views on certain things. But your views, and you express those with us, and we certainly appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I think we've all learned quite a bit from that.
Right. So what was your takeaway?
My takeaway is
from, what did you find out about me today that you never knew that made
in
you
fact,
go,
that was one of our questions too. Is like, share something about, Mike, you always present yourself as being very vulnerable.
Okay.
And seeing you on stage as a comedian. Just kind of talking a little bit more about your past, where you came, where you've come from. Like you said, the way your mother raised you, and you've had to try to adjust to some of that. And man, you have, from listening to you on stage. And so we certainly can appreciate that. And I think that, just giving of yourself, you've done that for so many years, encouraging other comedians.
Yeah.
You're the standard.
I appreciate that.
I really do. You're the standard, definitely. And so we certainly want to let our guests know that, like I said, this is a new year. Right. And, people start making resolutions and setting goals. And sometimes those things, you can't stick to those things. And that's not just, that's all of us. That's me too. So I do want to say to them that sometimes you could just start over, which is, I find myself doing quite a bit.
Right.
I've set some goals and want to do certain things, and it didn't transpires. But I just said, well, you know what? Let me just start over here.
I like that. You know what I say? I read it every day. I says, I'm very thankful, and I do this every morning. I said, and I'm thankful because God has given me another day to change what I didn't like about myself yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
So, and I'll reflect on something that I did yesterday, and because I'm always doing something, and go, well, today I don't want to do that. Right. So this is like you said, a brand new day.
Right.
To not do what I did yesterday.
Certainly. And so we hope that our audience have, I'm sure they've gained a lot in listening to you on Hats Off. And we want them to know that we're here for them.
Right.
We will continue to post different episodes of Hats Off with guests like yourself, so that we can continue to talk about men's mental health and share other things too. I mean, we're multifaceted.
Yeah, this feels great. This feels it feels natural.
Right.
That's what it feels
and
natural.
I felt good talking to you too.
Yeah, it feels natural.
So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Before we go, we'd like to take time out and say thanks to our podcast community recording here in Harlem, who worked to bring you this episode. Thanks to producers Leonard DePlunk, Paula Farmer, and Jack Hamill, Jack and Leonard on the soundboard and camera, our tech heads, Vanessa McKnight and Cheney McKnight, Stephen Williams, who is mostly in the shadows these days, David Aaron of Short Memory Records for allowing us to use of that sweet jazz number Soy Sauce. And a very special Harlem thank you to international comedian Brooklyn Mike Troy. Thanks for being with us, Brooklyn Mike. You have been listening to Hats Off with Dr. James McKnight. Be well. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional medical advice. Please consult with a healthcare professional regarding any health conditions or concerns. Help is available. Speak with someone today. Dial 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Languages are in English and Spanish. Hours are 24/7. If you need help, please speak with someone today.